Well, everyone, what is going on, dude? So, another day, another iOS 14 reason why, probably it's not going to be support on older phone, or maybe why it is. And this time, it's why I think iOS 14 is probably going to be coming on the iPhone 6s and the iPhone SE. Now, if you guys remember, just say like about a week ago, I made that video about the iPhone 6s and the iPhone SE probably not getting iOS 14. Actually, this was more like a month ago. And since then, we've seen a huge revelation. And I talked about this yesterday in that iOS 14 video. And because of that, that makes me think that the iPhone SE and the iPhone 6s probably will get iOS 14, and the reason being is because of a lot of people complaining about iOS 14, but on top of that, Apple kind of admitting that iOS 13 does have a lot of problems. We've seen this with yesterday's report, or it happened a couple of days ago, but Craig Federici, he kind of wants to change the way that iOS 14 or iOS, future versions of iOS are kind of developed and kind of tested. So instead of testing, all the features at one time and trying to pinpoint the specific problems, the developers will be able to turn off those specific features, the newer features, and be able to go from there and pinpoint the problems more accurately or whatever. And that might seem like a small thing, and it might be in the long run, but it will help with the future iOS builds and everything like that to make things more stable. But here's the more important thing. Apple is listening and they're understanding that the older versions, such as iOS 13, and the future iOS 13 is going to be the older one, that those versions have problems, and Apple wants to go and fix those problems, and they're not going to keep an older iPhone that a lot of people have. A lot of people still own the iPhone SE, and a lot of people still own the iPhone 6s. Apple does not want these people to having, an older device that has really, really bad software. Now, if we go ahead and reverse this, right, let's go back in time. iOS 11, okay, Apple went ahead and added a ton of features, did a lot of different things, and technically speaking, the iPhone 5S was supposed to stop there, right? But it went on and got iOS 12 because a lot of people complained about iOS 11. And iOS 12 was kind of like a mediocre refresh. It wasn't even that crazy. But then we saw with this version, with iOS 13, a lot of people are complaining about it. It's the same exact thing as iOS 11. Now, me personally, like I've stated before, I don't really have too many problems with iOS 13. I think it's alright. But I can only imagine that if Craig Federici and all these other higher ups at Apple are already kind of testing and kind of changing the way future builds of iOS are going to be, that only makes me think that Apple is actually going to go ahead and release iOS 14 for these older devices. I don't think Apple wants to go and keep these type of devices in the dust and have them on a bad version of iOS that's going to impact their legacy. Apple is known for having devices that are up to date on software, super secure and super stable. And if Apple actually keeps it on iOS 13, I can only see a lot of people complaining about it. But this is also bad news too, because that might mean that iOS 14 might not be that big of a refresh if the iPhone SE and iPhone 6s that I'm getting it. Maybe, just maybe, Apple just create another bug fix update with smaller features added that might not be as big features as we might want, as we might expect, like a whole UI refresh and everything. So I don't know, guys, it's just a thought. Again, nothing verified, but I'm pretty sure that iPhone SE and the iPhone 6s are probably going to be getting iOS 14. It only makes sense for me, and I can only wait and hope and pray every day that these phones do end up getting iOS 14. So that's pretty much it, just a quick one. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.